off Christmas Island, the H-bomb explodes. It's a beautiful but horrifying spectacle. The sea and sky seeming to boil like a huge cauldron. Britain's first H-bomb has exploded with the power of 2 million tons of TNT, the most tremendous blast ever filmed. Seconds after the explosion, the whole sky still seems to blur as the huge cloud rises, pushing an immense shockwave before it. The atomic cloud twists into grotesque shapes, climbing tens of thousands of feet above the Pacific. Scientists say that the amount of radioactive fallout was almost negligible. Another triumph for Britain. It's the world's biggest bomb so far. The second bomb explodes 400 miles south of Christmas Island, dropped at a height of 43,000 feet. The force of 5 million tons of TNT dropped by one bomber. An explosion so great that a gigantic volume of water seems to boil in the sea itself, drawn up and spread as far as the eye can see. It's another first to Britain. The first H-bomb exploded from an operational jet bomber. Again, there's little radioactive fallout. The world's mightiest sky bomb, a horrifying weapon which might deter... Official government films just released show the latest tests of atomic devices at Maralinga. Great camera towers are built to film the blasts. And there's the airfield with a huge Valiant bomber on the runway. The tests are the result of close British-Australian cooperation, and famous atomic scientist Sir William Penny arrives to supervise them. Operation Buffalo is the test's code name, an apt title in this vast uninhabited area. Centurion tanks, field guns, anti-aircraft guns and other equipment is moved into the target area, and each gun is test-fired before the blast. After Operation Buffalo, they'll be examined closely to determine exactly the effects of the heat and blast of an atomic explosion. Australians have a big part in the tests, and joint British-Australian teams get equipment ready and build the different types of shelters and trenches to be tested. Full-size dummies are prepared to study the effect of blast on humans. Instruments are readied to record the explosions. Camera crews get their equipment ready as scientists await perfect weather conditions which will allow them to explode the devices with not the slightest risk of radioactive fallout. And so D-Day, the bomb-carrying Valiant is airborne. Observers are ready. Scientists await 0 hour. Radar plots the plane's course. On the target area, the military equipment, buildings, and supplies are in position. In the control room, a panel shows that the atomic device is now ready for explosion. The seconds tick by, seconds to 0 hour, and then from the huge plane comes the report, bomb away. Personnel on the ground turn their backs on the vivid explosion. The first phase of Operation Buffalo is over. Later, cameramen record the second blast of the series. All that remains now, and it's a vital part of the test, is to examine the target area and assess the damage. This is the result of the blast and heat of an atomic explosion. Field guns that will never fire again. Buildings buckled and wrecked. Operation Buffalo has not only provided information for attack, but information for protection from atomic attack. These devastated buildings could have been part of a city. The damage to them is scientifically assessed, and camera jets... Miners from northern New South Wales coalfields meet in Sydney to protest about dismissals, closing of mines, and the sale of 2 mines by the Joint Coal Board. Some 700 miners and 40 wives meet in the gardens not far from Parliament House, where they are addressed by Miners' Federation officials. After some of the women have their say, the men march towards Parliament House, where they want to send a deputation to the Premier, Mr. Carl. Police are out in force, but the march is orderly, and only officials mount the steps of Parliament. The Premier agrees to see the miners' leaders, but refuses to lead a union deputation to Canberra. Instead, he'll ask for federal financial aid for men out of jobs on the coalfields. An East-West Airlines DC-3 with 27 people aboard crash lands in a lake on the Lakes Golf Course, Sydney. Rescuers are on the spot in a matter of minutes, pulling passengers through the escape hatches to safety. Portable spotlights play on the plane. Its engines failed at 400 feet just after takeoff from Kingsford Smith Airport. The pilot, Captain McKillop of Tamworth, put the plane down on a pancake landing on the shallow lake. Aided by spotlights, car lights, and torches, nearby residents plunge into the water to help passengers ashore. Fire brigades and ambulances are on the spot to cope with any emergency, and scores of police are rushed to the scene to control a crowd of nearly 30,000 spectators. A nighttime drama without a casualty. Survivors paid tributes to the skill of the pilot, who put the plane down so smoothly that those on board escaped with only a shaking. Damage to the plane itself will not be known until it can be towed clear of the water. There are scores of volunteers and the rescue party wading and swimming round the crippled plane to make certain everyone gets out safely. When the last passenger is clear, the rescuers too leave the water. In the few seconds before the crash landing, hostess Kay Summers warned passengers to prepare for the impact. Passengers say she was so calm that no one panicked. At dawn, the plane lies on the muddy bottom of the lake. The pilot who suffered shock is in hospital, but because of his skill, no passenger or crew member is injured. A crash landing with the plane itself the only casualty. This luxurious Melbourne home is a fairy tale come true for 3 Aboriginal girls from Melville Island, 180 miles from Darwin. Mr. and Mrs. Deutscher visited the island last year and adopted 3 Aborigines to bring up with their own 3 children. Christine is 4, and for the first time in her life, she has a mother and father. 2-year-old Faye was rescued by a territory policeman who found her abandoned. They've been cared for by the Methodist Mission, and now they live in a 15-room mansion. Mr. Deutscher says he believes it's possible to integrate Aboriginals into white families. Christine certainly seems to be proving that Mr. Deutscher is right, and so does Faye. It's all so new to them, and they're still a little wide-eyed. A long way from Melville Island, but at last a home and the love and affection of a family of their own. Sleep tight, children, because you know that dreams do come true, don't you? Mike Todd and his wife, better known as film beauty Elizabeth Taylor, land at Kingsford Smith Airport, Sydney, on a flying visit to Australia that's really a flying visit. They're here only 3 days in the course of a whirlwind world tour, and because they won't have time for many public appearances, scores of their fans are out to meet them. It's a big reception to a producer who's really in the world headlines and who's traveling the world almost as fast as Sputnik. Of course, the boys are out here to see Liz, and she's as lovely to look at in real life as she is on the screen. As newsreel, TV, and press cameramen crowd the small room, the 2 calmest people around seem to be the stars themselves. Let's get in closer and ask them to say a few words. What about it, Mike?
We're really overwhelmed. We're very touched, and we hope that you like us as much going out as you did coming in. Thank you very much. Elizabeth, you say something.
I never have a chance to say anything. I've actually forgotten how to talk. But thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
This church in the heart of Fitzroy, Melbourne, is a church that's different. Its crusading minister is Pastor Douglas Nichols, a full-blooded Aborigine of the Yarra Yarra tribe. His congregation is black and white, and he ministers to them all to raise their standards. He is married and is the father of 3 children. The pastor is curator of Northcote Football Ground and was a football star for Fitzroy for many years. Now he's receiving telegrams of congratulation for his lifetime of service in this industrial area has been honored by the Queen. In the recent Queen's Birthday Honours List, he was awarded the MBE for services to the Aboriginal people. To the people of Fitzroy, Pastor Nichols is tops, the first Aborigine ever to receive an honour from the Queen. Sydney's Opera House design entries, 217 of them, include the South African entry, on display at the National Art Gallery. English architect Thomas Howcroft's design gets a favorable reception. German architect Frederick Rettig's entry, but the biggest crowds surround the three place-getters in this worldwide contest. Third prize of £1,000 goes to 2 English architects for this design, and 7 Philadelphia men will share £2,000 for taking second place. The first prize of £5,000 is won by Danish-born Jorn Utzon. A storm of controversy follows. Some say it's wonderful, others think it's dreadful. It will cost... Of course, if you haven't any atom bombs for it to play with, it will do domestic chores too. You know the way the heads are always flying off matches when you strike them? Well, let Maxie the manipulator get his fingers burned. You organize things from a distance, and Maxie does the rest. Maybe he's not as fast as you'd like, but at least he's showing you just what intricate jobs a genuine master-slave manipulator can do. Well, strike me lucky. He's actually done it. Maxie cost a fortune and is an expensive cigarette lighter, but boy, how would he... At Sydney's Pickwick Club, new models and new fashions are on show. Pam Sanders, Miss South Pacific, and Jan Wilson wearing black wool jersey, which shows the French influence on winter fashion. Pam again, this time showing the latest covered look in swimwear. Striped, disciplined cotton jersey, piped in white. She's also showing why the judges didn't hesitate to name her Miss South Pacific for 1957. Top model June Massey and Bob Stephen, mine host at the club, watch Ann McMillan, a newcomer, modeling a 3-piece sports outfit in Tennyson flowered printed cotton. Jan again, this time in winter sportswear, a French mohair coat. Olympic star John Hendricks and mannequin Candy Mitchell see Barbara McIntosh show the latest in swim styles. A zippered front, one-piece wrap with skirt. New styles, new models, and all of them eye-catching. A field of 157 start in the annual Warrnambool to Melbourne bike race. And here's the leading bunch with 50 of the 163 miles still to go. Ken Parry, number 91, is showing the way. This is a classic in the professional cycling world and carries £1,000 in prize money. But it's a tough, grueling ride, and no one's won it 2 years in a row. Not far from Geelong, another rider comes down. Sorry, we can't wait. Those leaders are still well ahead and going strong. National champion Russell Mockridge is one of the favourites, though he's conceding up to 66-minute start. Watch the right of the screen for another fall. There it is. As they come round the bend, speed and fatigue are taking their toll. The finishing line at Royal Melbourne Showground, and 50,000 spectators cheer Richmond rider Stan Bonny as he speeds to victory. Mrs. Bonny reckons he's just Bonny. It's his second Warrnambool in 8 years, and fastest time getter Russell Mockridge is one of the first to shake his hand. Australian lightweight Russell Sands in the lighter trunks meets Mexican Sampo Ortiga at Sydney Stadium. And it's wham, bam, slam from the opening bell. Both boys throw punches all the time, fighting like threshing machines in a non-stop exhibition of tough boxing. Weaving, ducking, Sands evades some heavy blows, but the Mexican too makes him miss. There are plenty of punches that do connect, though, and some of them are beauties. Sands proves that unlike most southpaws, he can hit hard in close. One of the fastest, most furious punching exhibitions the stadium's seen for years. Sands and Ortiga weave and duck continuously, and a lot of punches sail harmlessly through the air. If one does connect, someone's head is going to fly right out of the ring. Sands' backers are always confident, but the Mexican is a mighty hot tamale, and he ducks out of trouble pronto. Sands charges, throwing punches wildly, and sails right past Ortiga, slipping to the canvas. He's soon on his feet again, and is back ready to swap punch for punch in a regular slugging match. The crowd roars as Ortiga rushes into the attack, raining punch after punch as Sands back moves. The Mexican behind on points is certainly not beaten yet, and he comes back fighting. last round now, and both boys get stuck into it. The Mexicans game, but Sands has piled up a big lead, and referee Patrick has no hesitation in crowning him. Russell Sands shows he's got what it takes to carry on a famous name in Australian boxing. There's a big crowd at Flemington for Derby Day, and most of them are here to see a colt they can't bet on, Tulloch. He's 10-1 on. And if you think the field looks pretty bunched up as they get away, don't worry. The Glamour colt's just coasting along with them for the first 10 furlongs. Keep your eye on him now, though. And rounding the turn into the straight, there's not much between Tulloch, Prince Darius, Famed, and Tookie. Now watch the Glamour colt go. He's just leaving them for dead, going further ahead at every stride. 4 lengths, 5, 6, 7, 8. What a champion! Prince Darius is second and Tookie third. But for Tulloch, it's a grand slam. Rosehill Guineas, AJC Derby, Caulfield Guineas, Caulfield Cup, and now the Victoria Derby. The hottest favourite since the first Derby 102 years ago. Some punters want to know why he's not a Melbourne Cup starter. And the owner's son tells them it's because his father is a true sportsman. A colt that's established an Australasian racing record. Tulloch, the wonder colt that mows them down.
Melbourne Cup Day 1957, and just on 86,000 people assault the bookies as they try to pick the winner. For students of form, it's just as hard to pick the best-dressed woman at Flemington. The Cup field may not be as good as usual, but the fashions are really something. Top hats are odds-on favourites, though if you pick winners by numbers, here's a number that's a winner all the way. Women of all nations in national costumes add colour to a traditionally colourful scene. Well, girls, what's it going to be? Red Craze, Monte Carlo, Straight Draw? Well, something's got to win. Anyway, here's the long and short of it. And there goes long and short now. And whatever you back, you'll get a thrill, because this race is always a thriller. The crowd's tense, the horses are at the post. And they're racing in the Melbourne Cup. Beaumine went straight to the rails at Barrier Rise, and Prince Darius, one of the best to begin from Relcon. Then Red Craze and Syntax, who got away well from Monte Carlo. Now the Gold and Allura. In behind that bunch, followed by Newstone, Borgia, Carbia, Straight Draw, and Pandy Sun. Beaupar at the head of the others, followed by Gallantly and Baron Boisia. And Beaumine has tailed right off in the straight on the first occasion. The lightly weighted Allura had taken over to pilot the field from Nether Gold and Straight Draw. Baron Boisia moving forward sharply, followed by Monte Carlo. Then Newstone and Gallantly from Prince Darius on the rails. Syntax is next from Pandy Sun. Then a gap to Beaupar, Relcon, and Red Craze at the head of the others. At the winning post on the first occasion, little between Allura and Nether Gold, and they're clear of Straight Draw. Then Baron Boisia, Monte Carlo, followed by Newstone, Gallantly. But as they made the run to the back near the mile, Baron Boisia had taken over to be a narrow leader from Borgia. Then Allura. Straight Draw in behind that bunch, followed by Newstone, Monte Carlo. Then a gap to Prince Darius, Syntax, Gallantly, followed by Relcon, Red Craze. And in behind them was Pandy Sun, followed by Borgia. They start the run along the back and travel near to the side with about 4 furlongs to go, where now the Gold had gone to a narrow lead from Monte Carlo. Baron Boisia next from Straight Draw. Gallantly moving up sharply, followed by Allura, Syntax, Prince Darius, then Newstone. And at the head of the others, Pandy Sun. On the turn into the straight in the Cup, and Gallantly had forged his way clear of Nether Gold and Monte Carlo. Straight Draw going to them, and Prince Darius finishing well at the distance. Straight Draw is clear of Prince Darius and Monte Carlo. Syntax finishing well, followed by Allura, and then a gap to Pandy Sun. Straight Draw in front as they get close to the line. Inch by inch, the little Prince is wearing him down. Straight Draw and Prince Darius staging a mammoth duel. The whips are out, and Straight Draw goes as straight as a gun barrel to beat Prince Darius. Third, Pandy Sun. They're followed by Syntax, and then a gap to Newstone. Wouldn't it? Prince Darius could have won. Straight Draw went as straight as a gun barrel, as I said, to win Australia's greatest race, and tops a meteoric career for jockey Digger McGrowdy.
Given no chance by the critics because of injuries, Australia meets England in the World Cup League match at Sydney Cricket Ground. The Aussies attack from the whistle, bustling the Englishmen and tackling like demons. But the crowd of nearly 60,000 groans as the visitors are awarded a penalty. Lewis Jones takes the kick, and England leads 2-0 after 2 minutes. Don't worry, mate, it's only a game. Australia attacks again. The ball flashes from Carney to McCaffrey, but Tommy Harris nearly intercepts. The ball's loose. Wells gets possession again, sends it on to Poole, and Australia looks dangerous. Carlson comes in to make the extra man, and Watson's there too. Brian Clay tries to bullock his way through, but is brought down close to England's line. And from the play of the ball, Norm Probyn flings it to McCaffrey, who scores right near the posts. The crowd is wild with excitement. Australia's ahead.